What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Ask Steven. This is episode 7. Hope to do many more of these as I plan on getting to a lot of your guys' frequently asked questions regarding chiropractic school, health, and everything in between. So this is another segment where I'm having a phone conversation with one of you guys, and I'm really enjoying having these conversations because it's just so awesome to be able to connect with you guys. I've been putting some of these out here for you guys just because I feel like it'll provide a lot of value for you. So I encourage you guys to put some headphones in or just listen whenever you guys are doing dishes, studying, doing errands, driving in the car, or maybe you're just here watching this. I hope you guys will plug in, take some notes, and enjoy.
Hey Steven, this is Carter. How you doing?
Hey Carter, how's it going?
It's going good. Just got out of my class and that was rough.
What class was it?
That was an introduction to biology. And well, my teacher, instead of just doing pure biology, he's introducing organic chemistry.
Oh, yeah. So like, did you say like how like affording like living expenses and all that?
Not even just living expenses, just being able to afford an apartment.
Got it. Yeah. So.
Like, is that with buddies or is that just you?
So what most people do, well, there's a few options, right? There's like usually like 3 categories people fall into. Either you have your people's parents helping them out, or people are using savings with a mix of like having a job. So like jobs they had while they're in college, they built up a savings account, or they like still, at least in maybe the first year of school, they like do like work study and all that just to make some money on the side.
Okay.
Or the third option, which is usually most people fall into, is they will take out like a grad plus loan, which is essentially, it's just you take out the loan for your tuition and all of that, but then you also take out essentially just additional money to pay for your living expenses. And so that's what most people do. And then then like stuff like rent, all of that, it's just like you just gotta finance it really well. So like, I mean, what's cool about like here in life, you can get apartments near campus for like really cheap. So especially if, or you get a house with like a few roommates, it's a lot more affordable. So, I mean, yeah, it's a grind. It's a grind for sure. But I mean, it's possible, and it's just, I think it's like just a part of the, you know, I mean, you can look at it like it's just part of the process. Yeah, and it's just part of the expenses of school itself. You know what I mean? Financing game is the big part of it. You know, especially like if you do have to take out additional loan money to pay for your groceries and pay for your rent and your bills and stuff like that. It's like that, it's really more expensive than what you're paying because you're also having interest accruing on top of that. You know?
Completely, yeah.
So you just want to be smart with it, but like I said, luckily it's only 3.5 years and then you're out in the real world making good money. So that's the goal, right?
Yep. As long as you're still not being like every other doctor out there when you stop the education and while you're putting your patient's lives in your hands.
Right.
Just not smart. It's like you gotta continue the education.
Right, absolutely. It's a lifelong process.
Yeah, and then the second thing was, do you tend, I know this is kind of like so-so, but do you tend to spend more time studying by yourself or with a group? I remember you said you spent a lot of time studying by yourself, right? I mean, I feel like that would change depending on the class, or what do you tend to do usually more like?
Yeah, so this is my experience. I always like tell people it's good, especially whenever you're an undergrad, to kind of like experiment and figure out your study style, because it's really not going to be much different once you come to chiropractic school. I mean, the schooling, it's going to be on another level, but like in terms of like how you're going to study and stuff, it's like, it's very similar, you know what I mean? But for me, for probably 90% of my classes, I like to study on my own. That's just how I like to do it. And that's my big thing. But like for other people, they like to be in a group setting, or like, I know like for some classes, like for some like labs, like lab classes where it's like more hands-on stuff you have to learn, or like maybe it's something like where you're learning like models for like different anatomy and stuff like that. It's kind of like, it helps to be with a group of people so you can go through it together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of, I play it class by class, but I would say the vast majority of the time, I like to study by myself because I like to talk to people. And I mean, you know how it goes, especially when you're studying with your buddies, it's like you can easily get off track and all that. So I'm just a lot more efficient studying on my own. And plus, like, a weird thing I do whenever I'm studying by myself is like I like to vote, because I'm a speaker, right? That's just my natural gifted intellect, is I like to talk and like to speak. So I'll literally, and I learned this in undergrad, I learned like freshman year of college, is like I'll go through my notes and I'll like re-lecture it to myself. So I like almost like imitate the teacher teaching the material, and like for some classes that does really good for me, especially like with classes where I have like really good notes for. So just things like that. But yeah, that's why I like studying by myself more. But other classes, like, give you another example, like I told you I'm in that orthopedic class, so there's a lab section, and so like there's a lab practical. In the lab practical, it's where you're doing different orthopedic tests that, you know, is like standard across like the medical, like the healthcare profession. And for that, you have to be able to know like how to do all of the tests correctly, but also how to do verbals and all of that. Like, and there's a lot of verbals, and some of them are kind of difficult, and you have to be like perfect on all of them. So like for classes like that, it helps to be with a group, because then if you do something wrong, they can correct you and show you how to do it right, you know? But yeah, I just say, I mean, you'll get a feel for that. I just say, what year are you in undergrad?
I'm back about a year and a half before class.
Got you, cool. Yeah, so I mean, I just say, you know, if you feel confident, you know, and know like your own style for how you learn best, then I mean, you'll do good. But I just think, and you'll know too, like whenever you come to school, if it helps, because it might be a benefit to you whenever you're here in school, just because you're around more like-minded people, you guys are studying, like it's a little bit different. It could be, so you might like it better, but I mean, at least say try it. And I think you'll learn very quickly, like whether you like studying in a group better, or if you kind of want to do your own thing, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're learning the central nervous system now, correct?
Yep, yep.
Alright, and then you said that pathology was crazy hard as well.
Yep,
so
that's one of the hard classes, yep.
The two doctors that I currently work for, they're split between CNS and PNS. I mean, I figured that, so like which one of your classes so far ever have you taken, like rank-wise, just like the top three? Which are the hardest classes that you would personally say that you've taken?
Oof. Let's see.
I know you're taking the pathology right now, and you're saying that's like...
Yeah, I would...
So far.
I would say, honestly, this quarter's probably been the most difficult. I mean, I would rank it probably like pathology is probably definitely up there. I would say like the big three this quarter, honestly, have probably been the most difficult classes, just in terms of like, I don't know, the amount of material you have to learn. So I would probably rank it like pathology 1, and then skeletal radiology 2, and orthopedic diagnosis number 3, probably. I would say. I would probably say that this quarter, I would say that those 3 classes have been the toughest and the whole program. I would definitely say that. Yeah.
That's crazy. Just like, just how you think it's crazy. Like, you think this class is hard based on what you've heard over here. Both of these doctors went to Palmer. It's just crazy how like people just perceive things differently.
Yeah, and what's different too is at different schools, a lot of it, I mean, they teach classes differently. Even though like the material is the same, because we have to learn all the same things because we're taking the same boards, but they have it maybe structured a little bit differently at each school, and like the teachers make a huge difference, hands down. The professor can make or break a class, you know? Like I'm in CNS now. I personally don't find the class too difficult. Just
really
for me, I mean it's challenging stuff, but I mean I don't find the class too difficult. The biggest hectic of it though is like the professor for it isn't personally my favorite style of teacher, so like it makes the class harder but at the same time it makes me have to study it more and I do better on it, you know? So kind of versus like other teachers, it's a harder class, but the teacher's really good at teaching the material, so it makes the class better in a sense, you know? But yeah, I mean, I think, and different classes are harder for different people. I just think based on people's backgrounds and whatnot, like if you had a strong science background in undergrad, you're gonna do better obviously in all of the science classes, and I just think, and all that plays a difference, you know?
Now, are you truly fearless realistic here? Are you truly getting 7 hours of sleep?
Most night, yes. I think because I prioritize it. I mean, I think in some instances, things are going on and I don't, but I mean, I would say vast majority of the time I do. I get 7-8 hours a night. Just because.
That's really impressive. Props to you.
Well, just because I feel.
You feel better. It's good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, night and day. It makes, in terms of my energy, my focus, just how my brain works and how I function as a whole, it's night and day if I get 5 hours of sleep versus if I get 7-8 hours of sleep. It's a complete difference,
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I prioritize it because, I mean, I understand why some people can't get sleep. I mean, I understand you're in classes all day, then you gotta study, and then you're working and all that, and I understand you have to, but I truly believe too, and I'm learning this from my own past experience of like, having like all-nighters and not getting enough rest and stuff, especially during exam time and all that stuff. But like, I think over time I've learned like, if you can become better at like prioritizing your time and managing your time better, I truly think that you can still get everything you need to get done and still have time for 7-8 hours of sleep a night if you use your time wisely enough. Just because at least in my experience, like on nights where I didn't get enough sleep as I should have or as that I wanted to, there was definitely like an hour or 2 hours in the day that I kind of wasted or then, dilly-dallied that if I would have gotten what I needed to get done, I could have gotten on bed in time.
Back on, you're just like, real.
Yeah.
All that time.
Yeah. But I mean, different variables. I mean, no one's perfect at it, especially like, if you're working on something late at night and then you lose track of time or like, then you're like, oh crap, I have to do this and do that still, and then you're up late. Like, those nights happen to everyone, I feel like, but at least like on a consistent basis though, I usually just try to get done everything I need to get done during the day. That way I can get to bed on time, Now
this is kind of fall through that. You can just answer it like real quickly. On those nights when you've got like 2 laps or whatever, you get home at like 11 o'clock, 11:30, are you just straight up going to sleep, or are you still like studying until like 2 in the morning or something like that? Like, how's that working out for you?
Yeah, on those type of nights, I just like to pre-plan it, so if I know that I'm not gonna get back, like on a late night, like for instance, I'll say like for instance for tonight, like I was planning to have this call with you, and then I'm getting some things done later before I have a Gonstead Club this evening that goes till 8:30, and so by the time I get back, it's gonna be like 8:30 pushing 9 o'clock and whatnot, so like I know that I already have planned that I'm not gonna study for 3 hours tonight, like I already have planned what I'm gonna look over, and I know that's gonna take me like 30-45 minutes, so I mean, I think that's the big key. Like if you can plan ahead and know what you're gonna be doing when, it just makes life so much easier. Just again, in my experience, because I know the game where it's like, in those moments where you feel like, oh, I have to stay up all night, or oh, like those all-nighters you have to pull to study for an exam, or you have to, get all this work done, and like everything just like is cramming up and piling up. It seems like a lot of that stuff could be avoided if you were able to plan and put in, and plan your time properly, like week or 2 weeks prior. But that makes sense. Yeah, but that's just something I learned a lot, especially coming to school here. Like a lot of it's just planning your time out beforehand, knowing that if you got an exam coming up next week or 2 weeks from now, it's like, especially if it's a really big exam, like knowing that you're gonna study progressively over time versus like stuff suddenly coming up out of nowhere and then you're like, oh shit, now I have to cram for this or get all this work done at once. So yeah, proper planning, that's been my key.
Yeah, I've definitely been learning a ton from you.
I appreciate it.
Like, you have no idea how helpful your channel's been. Like, you seriously have no idea. Because it's awesome. like you said, way before you even started doing the vlogs, there was literally nothing. Like, I'd be searching for models from see if there was any like day in the life or how's this going, like any chiropractic college, just like nothing. It's like a blank slate.
Yep, exactly.
So yeah, you've definitely been a pioneer in this. And the last thing I gotta ask you is this. It's pretty much like a word of wisdom, because I'm seeing it all around, and they're just doing horrible at it. Are you planning to be a holistic doctor of chiropractic? And at that point, you'd be you wouldn't be a prostitute to insurance companies at that point. You wouldn't be like just an assembly line chiropractic in, out like that. And then like when you've got the holistic medicine there, it's like that's when it works. So are you planning to be more like an assembly line chiropractic clinic? Because in that case, chances are you're not going to be doing so well. Just warning you that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's tough. It's tough, you know. Like, I don't have the exact definition for what I'm going to be doing, the type of doctor I'm going to be, how I'm going to run things, what take insurance or no insurance, what services I'm going to provide, or like what my, you know, like I don't know specifics on that. And even if I did, it's not how it's going to turn out, just because my thoughts and just things change so fast over time. So, but I will say a big value of mine, just it's always been this way, and what I see that's in such need of in the healthcare industry right now, and it's just as applying in chiropractic or across any dimension of healthcare, is really, I mean, there's a lot of things, right? But a few values that I have in mind with just like patient interaction is spending quality time with the patient, spending all the time necessary to be able to meet with them, and really not just, and just enough time to be able to dive deep and get to the root cause of what the problem is. Because oftentimes what I see with a lot of doctors is because of their in and out and they're in a rush, that creates a sympathetic response in the doctor itself. And that causes them to be stressed whether they realize it or not. It is, right? If you're bouncing in and out, especially if you plan on running your own clinic, you have the stresses of business and managing a team and all of that too. That's all inside of you. Whether you think you're cool or not, whether you think you have a handle or not, it's still a part of you, and that energy that you have is now being transferred to that patient, right? And so you're bringing that into the room, and in the room, the patient needs you to be there with them and to understand them and to see behind the lines, because they're not going to tell you the full story. You got to be a detective and figure out the whole story. What? Sorry, the video got cut off there, guys. My memory card actually ended, so I wasn't able to get the remainder of that conversation. It was a really great one. I hope you guys got something out of it. And if you guys want your questions answered, feel free to comment in below, send me a message to ask me your questions. And if you want to have a conversation like I had here in this show, then you can click the link below and we can sign up and have a talk together. All right, guys, I'll see y'all soon.